Welcome back to the Full Force Fathers podcast. Dave, today's episode number 98. 2 away from the century mark, but more importantly, 1 away from the great one.
I know how excited you are for next week's episode, and I'm excited too. Got some surprises and tricks up my sleeves, which is going to be great. But yeah, here we are, number 98. It's awesome.
I am not a jersey person, but man, I wish I had a Wayne Gretzky sweater for next week. Let me tell you.
That would be good. You should just go and get one. I'm sure you can get one at a bargain price somewhere.
Dude. I was trying to think about this. Number 99 is retired by the entire NHL. Like, think about that for a second, dude. Like, nobody wears it. Like, you can still wear 23 in the NBA. You can still wear, you know what I mean? You can't wear 99 in the NHL. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I guess the only other one is Jackie Robinson, right?
Yep, 42.
That's it.
Yeah.
Man, it's kind of crazy if you think about it. But
yeah,
hey, he's the great one. There's a reason that he's called the great one. And there we go.
But for 2 separate reasons. Both are great. But Jackie Robinson did it, obviously breaking the color barrier. Like, that's a whole nother reason why he's got his number retired by Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Wayne Gretzky got his number retired by the NHL because he's just the best fucking player to ever touch a hockey stick or put skates on.
Yeah, you're right. 100% right.
So, anyways, we got a good show. Today is 1 day post Super Bowl. So we're doing a Super Bowl recap show. We got some rants, some raves that we want to go on. We got a book recommendation today. You know, I got a good Bible verse for you today. Kind of ties into the Super Bowl a little bit. And I want to get your thoughts after we discuss Super Bowl. I want to talk about a couple text messages I received. As everyone that listens to the show knows, I'm a Niners fan and they lost Super Bowl last night. But I want to dive into some full force father stuff when it comes to people that just hang on to their sports teams like it's fucking dirty underwear. But anyways, let's jump right in today with famous number 98. Believe it or not, I was kind of surprised. There's not a ton of like Hall of Fame 98s out there, but there's a lot of Super Bowl champs that are 98. Obviously, in honor of the Niners, Julian Peterson was the first guy that I put on the list because he was a great linebacker for the 49ers for 10 years. He is a 3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. Can't mention 98 without mentioning Tony Siragusa, the Goose, with the Ravens, dude, number 98. You know, legend with that 2000 Ravens team. So here we go. Yeah. He's a Super Bowl winner. Casey Hampton wore 98 for the Steelers, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Robert Mathis wore 98 for the Colts with Peyton Manning, won the Super Bowl when they beat the Bears. Brian Arakpo, I put on the list just for you because he's a Texas kid. Came from UT, had a good NFL career with the Redskins. First-round draft pick with the Redskins. Played years with your Tennessee Titans, your new favorite team. John Henderson, first-round draft pick in 2002 with the Jags. Also, a really good number 98. None of these guys are blowing you away statistically, but they're all rock solid number 98s with Super Bowl rings, with Pro Bowls, with All-Pro status. So not a bad list, 98.
No, that's a fairly solid list. Yeah, man. Tony Siragusa is one of the main ones that stands out. He was always such a force on that line, and then he followed that up with some time in television. Remember, he was the sideline guy on the Fox broadcast with Moose. Yep. Moose up in the booth and somebody else, and he was the guy down the field. And he passed away a couple of years ago. It's sad that he's lost so early. But him and Brian Arakpo, he was still around. He used to come back to Texas all the time. That is a big dude, man. He's still big and scary. Like you just see him, like, he is intense. And I would not want to get hit by that dude. Not one chance would I ever want to get hit by Brian Arakpo.
You know what's crazy about football players, too, is in the grand scheme of things, they're really not, like, because everyone thinks football players, big muscle heads, excuse me, and even Madison last night, we're watching the Super Bowl, and she's like, Dad, look at the size of their fucking muscles. She didn't say that. I said, so look at the size of their muscles. I'm like, yeah, their biceps are like the size of my thighs. And like Bosa, she goes, I would not want to get hit by that guy coming across the line. But if you put it into context, those guys they would be the shortest player on any NBA team.
Yeah, it is. It's wild. It is wild. There was one guy, I don't remember his name. He's on the Chiefs defensive line. He was their run stopper, so he was usually in there on first, second down. And that dude was massive. I said to Casey a couple of times, like, look at the size of that guy. He was just huge and fast.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing that people don't realize. Like, these guys are big and strong, but fast too, which is just amazing.
There was a couple plays where they purposely let Bosa through the line and he was coming through like a freight train, and you're just like, what in the hell? How is that possible that a man of that size can run that fast? One play he ran down, I think it was Pacheco on the other side, and he literally he ran east-west across the field like he was a freaking running back and got to Pacheco to make a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, number 98 overall, good quality list. I did put a hockey guy in here, and the only reason why I put a hockey guy in here, Connor Bedard for the Chicago Blackhawks. The only reason why he wears 98, he wore it as a junior.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 draft pick last year. He was the number 1 overall pick in 2023. So obviously I will say this, and unlike other sports, basketball, baseball, football, if you're the number 1 overall draft pick in hockey, you're pretty much guaranteed to be a fucking great player. Like you don't, of all the sports, hockey doesn't miss very often on the number 1 overall pick.
No, that they don't. There was a lot of talk about him coming out, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of a career he actually ends up having.
Yeah.
I know you love the hockey ones. I love putting the NASCAR in here too, so I stuck a NASCAR in here for the 98 car. Leroy Yarborough. No relation to Cale Yarborough, who is like Hall of Famer, 3-time NASCAR champ. But Leroy had 10 wins in 62 races with a 98 car. He had 32 top 5s, 42 top 10s. So he was definitely the best of the 98s in the NASCAR world.
That's a pretty good percentage. 42 out of 62 top 10. That's a good percentage right there. But I mean, is that name not so NASCAR, Yarborough? Like, it's just like, dude, you are from the South somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Leroy Yarborough. Like, just, you are a NASCAR driver. And you drink beer. And you just
for sure you are.
Dude, crazy name. Crazy name.
Yeah, it's great.
But number 98's in the books. You guys know what's coming down the pipe next week, baby. Number 99. We're gonna have honorable mentions. Aaron Donald will be mentioned. There will be honorable mentions. But the episode is the great one. But grabbing the good book here, I'm going straight out of the book when it comes to our Bible verse 10. It comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 through 27. The need for self-discipline is actually the title, and it's a great, I guess, title in general, but the need for self-discipline. But this ties into football, ties into sports, ties into competition and everything else. It says, do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of Bible verse. But essentially is you play to win the game. A lot of runners run. There's only one winner. Last night, a lot of football players on that, 2 teams, only one winner. These guys are the greatest athletes on the planet. I love how it says they go into strict training. They win a crown that will not last, but it lasts forever. That's such a good saying because you win it, but every year someone wins a Super Bowl, right? But you're glorified forever as a Super Bowl champ when you do win that Super Bowl. Now, Mahomes is getting out of hand, dude. The guy's already got 3 in the last 5 years. But when you win that title, it doesn't last forever. You got to come back and win it the next year or it's gone. But you live forever as a champion. And I just thought that was a really good Bible verse to tie into Super Bowl. Could be NBA Finals, could be Super Bowl, could be World Series. You go down forever as a champion. No one's ever going to deny Patrick Mahomes not being the best quarterback on the planet by 10,000 miles right now. He's light years better than everybody else. No offense to Burrow and to Lamar and to Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. You name the guys that are out there right now. This dude literally won the Super Bowl by himself last night. I mean, Kelsey 9 for 93. I'll give him a lot of credit too. Another all-time great tight end that we've seen. But everything goes to Mahomes. Scrambles, calling his own number on some of these runs. Did you know that they won the Super Bowl last year and they won the Super Bowl this year on the same exact play? It was the same play. I didn't know. I saw the video. They put them side by side. Legitimately, ball snaps. Last night it was Hardman. The year before it was Kadarius Toney. They go out, they fake in, and they have the freaking clear shot at the end zone. Toney did it last year for them. Hardman won the Super Bowl for him. The same exact fucking play. Same play. Crazy.
Man. Yeah, it was crazy. What a great finish last night. And yeah, to your point, man, there's no one that's even close to Mahomes. To think of the fact, like, the team he did it with this year, I mean, arguably the worst team he's had on paper, getting the Super Bowl. You look where they were mid-season. They barely, at one point, they were, a couple games over 500 in the start of the season. Like, it wasn't great, but they know how to turn it on. And I'll tell you what, every time he needed to step up last night, he stepped up. And you could just tell the look on his face. He's like, we got this. We're going to get on the field. We're going to do what we need to do. A big difference. Brock Purdy played a great football game last night. Great football game. No doubt about it. The difference was when Spagnuolo sent pressure to Purdy and they got to him, he couldn't do anything with it. Purdy, he just couldn't. There was nowhere for him to go with the ball. The difference was, and there was I think it was like 3rd and 6 or something, right towards the end of the game, 3rd and 6, and San Francisco brought the house. And Mahomes just dumped it right over the top. It was like a 10-yard gain to the outside, first down, kept the drive going. Like those types of situations. And Tony Romo, greatest at his job.
Ever.
He called it. He's like, Mahomes has been here. He's done it. He knows those situations. He can smell it. He can feel it coming before it's even coming. And knows exactly what to do. And he's not going to make the critical mistakes at the end of a game like just about every quarterback can. He does not make those mistakes. He won't do it. He knows the situation. He knows that he's got a kicker who's got an incredible leg. He's not going to put the team in a position to not be able to at least get 3 out. Incredible finish. The first 2 3/4 of the game were terrible. I think I sent you a yawning emoji at one point. And then it picked up and really took off. I mean, how about the fact that I think the stat was in the first 57 Super Bowls, there were 11 kicks over 50 yards, and last night there were 3 of them.
No, there were 7.
It was
7 over.
Like,
there were 7 over 50.
7, and then 3 last night. Insane.
Yeah.
And these guys are just bombing it away, man. It was a lot of fun, but I mean, the 49ers looked like they did everything they needed to do to win the game. If you had said the 49ers are going to get a pick on Mahomes, get a fumble and a recovery on Pacheco, put up, 22 points, I would say that they would have won the football game.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy made no mistakes. Really no mistakes.
None. And
crazy.
Like I said, there's a couple things in the game. Nobody's picked off Mahomes. Just think about this. Let's talk about Mahomes for a second. He only has 2 losses in his entire NFL career in the playoffs since he's been a quarterback. His first year didn't matter. He sat behind Alex Smith for a year. He has 2 career playoff losses. One to the greatest player ever, Brady. And the second one to, you could argue, is the most talented quarterback outside of Mahomes in the NFL, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow went into Arrowhead and beat Patrick Mahomes with the year they lost to the Rams. Those were his only 2 playoff losses, which is absolutely insane because he's beaten Josh Allen 3 times in the playoffs. He's beaten Lamar. He's beaten Brady in the playoffs. Actually 3 playoff losses. Twice to Brady, I should say. Twice, because Brady beat his ass in the Super Bowl, and Brady beat him in the AFC Championship his first year, and then the 1 win by Burrow. The turning point for this football game was you sent me a text message right when Mahomes threw the pick, and that was the turning point of this football game. They picked off Mahomes at the 36 or 38-yard line in their territory. If they had scored a touchdown right there, the game would have been out of reach. Because as we all know, this year's Chiefs team is not the Chiefs of the past where they can score 40. This year's Chiefs team, their magic number was pretty much 25 because they have a great defense. Mahomes never had a defense like this. They had a great defense. They drew a Spagnuolo's fourth championship as a coordinator. Unbelievable defense coordinator, one of the greatest ever. But that was the turning point of the game. Shanahan, whatever happened to him in the third quarter, because he coached a great first half. The Niners completely dominated the Chiefs in the first half. 10-3. They had the McCaffrey fumble. which took points off the board. You couldn't ask for more out of a rookie kicker. He made 2 kicks over 50 yards. The extra point was blocked, whatever. But the fact is the third quarter was the starting point. The very first drive of the third quarter, they had already sacked Mahomes twice. They had already hit him like 6 times. He threw a bad pass, and they picked him off at the 36-yard line. They went 3 and out from there, and they lost 10 yards from penalties. If, like you said, your exact text message, I'm going to read it right now because I have it right here from you. You said, and I quote from Dave Fortin, "You put 7 on them here, and the shit is over," because that was the fact. If they had put 7 on them there, the game was out of touch. It would have been 17-3, and they didn't do it. And you're right. So strange. Mahomes gets picked. Pacheco loses a fumble. McCaffrey loses a fumble. A fucking freak lost fumble on the punt that hit the freaking guy's the back of his ankle. Everyone blamed McLeod for a muffed punt. It wasn't his fault. It hit his ankle. He just tried to recover it. The Chiefs freaking guy muffed a punt but recovered it. Like you said, hard to watch sloppy football. Great defensive battle. Both defenses showed the fuck up last night. And the deal is this. The only question I have as a Niner fan, and I'm not, like I said, Mahomes is the best. That's it. I'm giving credit where credit's fucking due. The only question I think I raised is Shanahan had the right game plan, dominated the first half, dominated the fourth quarter. We scored 10 points in the fourth, or 9 in the fourth with a touchdown and field goal. What happened to him in the third? All of a sudden, he just wanted to start throwing the ball. You have Christian McCaffrey. The guy had 30 touches for 168 yards and a touchdown. Though, as you heard Romo, their one weakness, the place to beat the Chiefs, was through the middle of the field. Run the ball down their throat. And McCaffrey was doing that. He was guaranteeing himself 4, 5, 8, the occasional 1, 2. The third quarter, it's like Kyle Shanahan threw the playbook away, got cute and said, "Hey, Purdy, go win this game." When you didn't have to go win the game, he was already winning the game.
Yeah, nothing was needed there. You're right. It's reminiscent of the 2019 Super Bowl too. Like it's the last game of the season. Give McCaffrey 40 touches. Give him 45 touches, whatever he needs. He's the best player on the field other than Mahomes. And like maybe the second best player on the planet other than Mahomes. Like he can do everything. I mean, led the league in yards before contact, second in the league yards after contact. Like the dude's just a workhorse. He gets after and gets down the field. How about that one towards the end of the game where he just went down the sideline? I mean, he just totally faked the dude out of the Chiefs and just went flying up the sideline because he's so fast. I just don't understand why you don't just give him the football. Use some clock, beat it down, keep it out of Mahomes' hands. I mean, the dude Mahomes is creating his own legend here.
Yeah, and that's what the Bucs did in 2020 when they beat Mahomes. They kept it out of his hands. They played great defense, and Brady just managed the game great, and they fucking beat their asses. And you're right. I will say one thing about the Chiefs. Their defense is elite. It was a great defensive battle last night. A lot of field goals. Don't forget, Mahomes only had 1 touchdown up until the final touchdown in overtime. It was all Bucker field goals. He had the 1 touchdown that he flicked over the top on that great play. But if you're off the turnover, but if anyone gets credit, dude, I'm telling you, Spagnuolo deserves more credit than he's getting right now. I know Mahomes is getting all the glory. Spagnuolo literally took Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle out of the game entirely. Debo had 3 for 33.
Yeah.
And Ayuk had 3 for 49, and Kittle had 2 for 4. Are you kidding me? He made Purdy, and I'll give Purdy credit. He threw for 255 yards. He made Purdy beat him elsewhere, and Purdy did that. He had passes to Conley. He had passes to Juwan Jennings. He had passes to Ray McLeod. Purdy took what was given to him, and he did well with it. But the fucking Chiefs defense shut down the Niners' great playmakers, outside of McCaffrey, obviously. Juice Check had a good game. I mean, they shut those guys out.
Yeah, cornerbacks played amazing. I mean, they tipped away 2 passes that were, surefire. One was a touchdown, and another one was a first down on the side. Like, they were just all over it. And no penalties. Really, they had 1 penalty in the second half. I mean, it was the defense were crazy. 49ers defense was strong throughout the entire game. Their red zone defense was fantastic. Like you said, they only had 2 touchdowns, and they really shut them down. They forced that Pacheco fumble. They held them at the end of regulation where they made that, they made a good play to make sure that the game went into overtime. So, both teams played hard. I think it was definitely the two best teams in football at that
Mhm.
point out there playing. Certainly the two best defenses currently playing
Yeah.
were out there, and yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. But you said Spagnuolo, and it's true. I mean, Romo was talking about towards the end of the game when the clock was winding down, and he was talking about how Spagnuolo knows he needs to get Mahomes the ball. He needs to
Yeah.
get him the football. He's going to do whatever it takes to get him the football. And sure enough, on the next play, Romo sorry, he's got to get pressure. Sure enough, next play draws up the pressure right up to them. I mean, it came from everywhere, and Purdy threw it into the arms of somebody, and it fell to the ground. And sure enough, the Chiefs had the ball back. Mahomes got out there, cool as a cucumber, drove down the field, got 3 to tie it, and off to overtime. Which wild.
Yeah, no, Spagnuolo,
I didn't know,
I'll
by
tell
the
you.
way, that there were different rules for playoff overtime football. Did you know that going in? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that, but I don't think it would have mattered. I think Mahomes in overtime, to be quite honest with you, I know there's a lot of people killing Shanahan right now for taking the ball in overtime. I'm not killing Shanahan for that because I don't think it would have mattered. I think if you had deferred and gave to Mahomes, he was going to score, and if you had not deferred like they did, Mahomes was going to score. In my opinion, it had to be a touchdown by the Niners. They didn't get it, and that was the game for me.
Yeah, and listen, the Niners defense was tired at the end of the fourth quarter. They had just been on a long, length drive. It wasn't a time-consuming drive, but a long drive down the field to end regulation. Had that big stand at the goal, basically at the goal line, to hold the Chiefs to 3. And yeah, I think at that point you're just like, let's give the defense a little more time to get some rest, get our offense in there.
They gave them plenty of rest.
Hey, they put up. Yep. Hey, they put up points. They did what they needed to do. They didn't get 7, which was the problem. But the
other thing that we're not talking about here is the blocked extra point. If they make the extra point, there was 6 seconds left in the football game when the Chiefs kicked the field goal to tie it. They had 1 play left to win the game. That was it. Don't forget, if they made the extra point, the Niners would have been up 4, and the Chiefs would have had to score.
Yeah, but they could have gone. They could have gone for it. The touch, like when they were down there before 2, there was another touchdown drive down there where they ended up kicking 3 to tie it when they were only down 3. So, yeah, I mean, game changes a lot of different ways when you have a missed point there. But certainly on paper, you're like, that one point would have made a difference. But it could have changed it would have changed a lot of the different play calling towards the end of that game. So
yeah, I think Well, the other thing I liked last night too, outside of the fourth, both teams. Well, Mahomes had to go for it on 4th down at the end of the game. He had to go for it on 4th when he called his own number. But it was old-fashioned football, which I love, dude. When there's points on the board, you don't leave them. You know what I mean? Because you're right. The Chiefs could have went for it twice on 4th and like 3 or 4 in the red zone. They didn't. They took the fucking points, and that's the right thing to do because you don't leave points on the board. And I love seeing that old school type of football where, hey, it's okay to kick field goals, dude. Like you said, Bucker 57 and then made 3 chippies. Fucking Moody hit 2 from over 50, dude. I thought for sure going to the game that I didn't trust Moody at all. Dude, the dude in the Super Bowl as a rookie on the biggest stage hit 2 kicks over 50 yards. That's not done very often. He set the record before Bucker beat the record the next fucking drive. But I didn't know this. I mean, I know Moody played at Michigan for Harbaugh. But his nickname was Money Moody in college because Harbaugh knew he was going to make the fucking kick. So Moody's going to have a nice long NFL career. Kicks are easier in the NFL. They play with the narrow hash marks. They don't play the wide shit like they do in college, dude. Kicks are easier in the National Football League. Kid's going to have a good career. The Niners, big picture. I was listening to Colin Cowherd this morning, and he said, do not be surprised if it is the 49ers and the Chiefs again next year. He said they are the class of the league. The Niners do not have to worry about contracts until 2025. Next year, Purdy's still on a rookie deal. Their biggest offseason issue is going to be signing Ayuk because you don't want the guy to hold out. He was an great player this year. You already have Debo locked up. Bosa's locked up. Kittle's locked up. Juszczyk's locked up. Purdy's on a rookie deal. You're going to lose Chase Young on the line. It is what it is. Nothing you can do about it. He was pretty much a free rental for the second half of the season. McCaffrey's under contract. These guys are going to be good next year. And like I said, Cowherd, who said, don't be surprised if it's the same exact 2 teams because I won't be. And I wouldn't be surprised either next year. And I honestly think this is kind of crazy talk. This is me as a Niner fan, but I think you'll agree with me. The NFC is significantly easier than the AFC. Every year that Mahomes does this, it impresses you more because all the best quarterbacks are in the AFC. Outside of his one AFC title game where he had to beat Tannehill and the Titans, he's had to beat the greatest quarterbacks. Rodgers is back next year. I know we talked about this on a previous episode. Purdy's path to the Super Bowl next year is significantly easier than the Chiefs' path to get back there again, which they will be going for a fucking three-peat, by the way, which is just totally absurd because don't sleep on the Chargers next year. Lamar's going to be better. The Ravens are in. Harbaugh is now in San Diego with Herbert. He's finally going to have a coach that doesn't play riverboat Ron football that goes for it on 4th and 10 from your own 10. Like, you know what I mean? He's got, it's good, dude. It's football, dude. Listen, I'm a fan like everybody else, but there's some exciting headlines going into next year because Purdy's going to be a year better. Shanahan's going to have the chip on his shoulder again. Reed is unbelievable and Mahomes is the best. Who cares it doesn't matter what the play. It literally doesn't matter what the Chiefs do in the regular season as long as they get in the playoffs. That's all that matters. They proved it this year.
Yeah, that they did. Yeah, I mean, sure. Until somebody can knock them off, 49ers probably the team is going to do it. If there's not many changes on that defense or on that offense, I mean, how can you go wrong? They barreled their way into the Super Bowl. So
and can we put the Purdy bullshit to rest now? The kid can play quarterback. I've never said he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, but the kid can play quarterback. He's got some moxie. He's got some poison there. He throws it. He's going to take a hit. He can roll out. He saved a couple plays last night just rolling out with his legs, dude. Let's get off this media hating on Purdy fucking bandwagon because it's just not true. The kid can play fucking football.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Is he going to be that one of those top 5 quarterbacks? Who knows? Time will tell. But yeah, he can get the job done. I mean, in his first Super Bowl, no critical mistakes on that kind of a stage. That tells you something right there. And he put him in a position to win. So
he had the lead. He had the lead in the fourth quarter and the lead in the overtime. They didn't lose the game because of him. You know what I mean?
Nope, that they didn't.
Anyways, I want to talk about something else now that we're, Super Bowl's over. It's the next day. And I want to talk about some text messages that I've received. And, everybody knows that I'm a 49er fan, all my lifelong friends and stuff. But the amount of, how you doing today? Everything good? Man, I'm sorry for the loss. And I'm thinking to myself, man, was I that big of a fucking fanatic asshole back in the day? Like, I went to bed and slept like a baby last night. They lost Super Bowl. I don't play it for the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? But, it's crazy. The amount of guys that are our age, Dave, you're 40, I'm 38. The amount of guys that hang their hats on fucking a professional football team to the point where they don't even function. When are they going to make the Monday after the Super Bowl a national holiday? They should just do it because nobody goes to work today.
Yeah, man, it's so frustrating to me. Like, listen, we were both there. I used to be that way.
Yep.
It's sad for me to say, when the Red Sox lost in 2003, I shed tears for that. Looking back, I think it's ridiculous. Like, I cannot believe that I had shed tears over a baseball game. So, like, I get it. I get where people are from. But at what point in your life do you just, do your priorities shift? Like, these guys aren't rooting for us in our life. They're not there rooting for us, cheering us on. They clean out their locker today, and they're going to go back to their wonderful lives, doing whatever they want to do, golfing 6 days a week, going to the beach, traveling the world, one of their 15 houses, most of them. I really don't feel bad for them. Yeah, does it suck that your team lost the Super Bowl? Sure, yeah. Does it suck that the Cowboys got knocked out against the Green Bay Packers this year? Yeah, it sucks. You know what? They'll be back to play again next year, and I'll be back there watching them again. But at the end of the day, dude, it's a game. It's just a game. Why do we get so wrapped up in something that we have zero control over whatsoever? Most people care more about the outcome of a football game than they do their own bank account, their own career trajectory, their own parenting style, or their parenting ability. The things that seem to matter the least, or the things that should matter the least to people, that they should be the least concerned about, are the things that seem to take the most prominence in their thoughts, which is just flabbergasting to me at this point, especially when you have a family, kids, you have all these things going on. You get still so wrapped up in sports. Like, I get it, it's fun, but to be so disappointed and depressed and down and like, oh, how you feeling? You okay? Yeah, I'm just fine. I didn't lose anything yesterday. Good to go. Thank you.
Yep. I didn't lose a single thing yesterday except, oh man, I wish the Niners had won the Super Bowl. That's it. You know what I mean? And I see a little bit of myself, my younger self and my daughter, because my oldest, Madison, was pretty pissed off because, obviously I'm a Niner fan. We were for the Niners. She was rooting for the Niners, and she's a little bit of a sports nut. And I like that, but she was saying last night, even this morning when I woke up for school this morning, she's like, Dad, Kyle Shanahan lost that football game last night. It's his fault. It's his fault. He forgot a coach. And I'm like, calm down. It's okay. We're going to be fine. You're going to school today. I got to work. The world's not ending. Those guys are already on a fucking plane ride to Bermuda for the month, I said. But the fact, it does, listen, I am pro competition, dude. But when you don't even have a pot to piss in and you're yelling at your TV, acting like armchair quarterback, like, I can't believe you threw that pass. How could you make that call? You have no idea, dude. These dudes are the most fucking finely tuned fucking athletes on the planet. These guys literally play football for their living. Think about that for a second. You're getting upset because a bunch of millionaires, great athletes, are playing football. They're playing a game for a living. And then, like you said, they go back to their nice lives, and no one was cheering me on this morning when I was working on a file. Nobody. I was hoping that I would see Patrick Mahomes on the couch behind me saying, "Go, Brett, hit the button, click the mouse." No, dude, it's just not the way it is, man. People took that perspective. Like I said, I'm guilty of it. I used to be that way. But as full force fathers, we can't be that way. Yeah. We have examples to set, kicking and screaming and breaking shit and being drunk and hungover the next day and calling out from work on sick on Monday because the Super Bowl was yesterday and your team didn't win. That's not a full force father. That is 100% everything that we don't do. And that was our shift in our life. You know what I mean? 5 years ago when we realized, holy shit, dude, we're going to do something here and it's time to grow up and send, and it just exacerbated. Side note, 75 hard, day 35. Like, you're ahead of me. Carp's ahead of me. Like, dude, there's life-changing things out there, dude. You can be so much better. Give more than you take. Dude, and just don't worry about football, man.
I was so mad when it went to overtime last night. I said to Casey, I cannot believe this is going to go to overtime. And I'm like, I committed to this much time. I want to stay up and watch the end of it. Yeah. Right, of course. But I'm like, 4:45 is coming early tomorrow. Yep. I got my first workout I got to get in. I got shit to do tomorrow because, I'm trying to better myself. That's the thing ultimately is what is important or should be important, is making sure that you're in the best possible shape physically, mentally, financially, spiritually that you possibly can be. And football, man, it's just a thing, an extra thing that's going on. I mean, listen, I shut off UConn games now that are on later because I got to get up at 4:45, and it's just not worth me staying up for anymore. You know what I mean? I'll find out in the morning if they won or not, because me staying up and watching them, cheering for them, isn't going to dictate the end of the game. And quite honestly, I'm probably just going to be pissed off if they lose anyway. So I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, you're right. Two statistics I want to bring up in this game, just like, because like weird anomaly statistics are cool. So Patrick Mahomes last night had 333 yards passing, and he had 66 yards rushing. So he was 1 yard away from 400 total. He finished at 399 yards, but that's not even the first one. The biggest one. Tell me how fucking crazy this is, okay? I hope you're ready. Both punters, Mitch Wisnowski for the Niners and Tommy Townsend for the Chiefs. Exactly 5 punts for exactly 254 yards, 50.8 average. Exactly.
Wow. That's crazy. I'll tell you what, I don't know how the NFL does it. I know they script everything, but man, that's amazing. They can script the length of the punts, isn't it?
Dude, exactly the same number of yards on punts? That's insane. That's fucking crazy.
That's crazy. That's insane.
You want to know?
That's insane.
You want to know another impressive thing about Moody and Bucker? I know that's in a dome and they're NFL kickers and they get paid to kick. There was not one return kickoff last night. Every single kickoff was a touchback. Every single one. Not one return.
Yeah. Most of them were through the uprights.
Yeah,
It was just a touchback. Dude, they were putting them through the uprights.
Dude, Bucker hit the post on one of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's fucking phenomenal. But anyways, enough about football. Enough about all that stuff. I got a book recommendation. Dave, I'm pretty sure you've recommended this one before, but I read it because you sent it to me. The Legend of the Monk and the Merchant by Terry Felber. What a fucking great book, dude. Live your life. If you're a business owner, live your life like this book. If you're a regular person and you're a 9-to-5er, live your life like this book. The principles in this book are unbelievable. What a great story between, Julio and Alessio, and it's just how he breaks it all down. And I love how it goes back and forth from them sitting, and then he goes into the story, and he kept the book, and great book all around. Go read The Monk and the Merchant. It's a good read. It's a quick read. It's only 140 pages. And I'm trying to think. 140 pages, and there's, 12 principles.
The pages go by like that. It's fast.
Yeah, and I'm reading another book that you just gave me, also, The Go-Giver, which I'll report back on that. That's another great one. I started reading that one yesterday for 75 Hard. But just phenomenal book. The Legend of the Monk and the Merchant. Great book. Live your life that way. You got anything else today, or we kicking rocks here?
That's it, man. That's it. Next one's the one, brother. I know you're excited. It's coming. The episode for the great one is finally here.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Episode 98's in the books. 99's coming down the pipe. The great one. Dave, take us home.
Yeah, get out there. Continue to share the show, folks. If you're getting value out of this, share it with as many people as you can. We want to get this message to as many fathers that can possibly hear it. We are full force fathers. We want others to be full force fathers so that we can make this world a better place for us and our families. We'll see you next week.